Hello, everybody. Welcome to Honesty Hour. I believe this is episode, and I should probably check on my phone which episode this is. I'm going to say 9 or 10 just to be safe. I think that's an indication that I haven't done one of these episodes in a while. So it's good to be back. Welcome back.
Also, it's stereotypical to have a podcast host not know what episode you're on and then fumble around for a second to go, oh, what episode are we
Does
on?
that happen often?
On all podcasts.
See,
you
but
seem surprised.
I feel like I don't have the credibility to do that. Because I don't even, like, that happens when you're, like, on episode, like, 200 and something. I'm on, like, single digits, and I really don't know. But my lack of organizational skills aside, we have a new episode today. We have a brand new guest. First time on the channel. Welcome, Caleb.
Hello.
Caleb is a good friend of mine who I met in high school. So the three of us went to high school together. So the voice you heard earlier, that is a guest who's been on this channel before.
Yeah.
Welcome, Gershon.
Yes, I'm back. Ooh, popular demand.
Last time...
The masses wanted me back.
Which is funny because that is our least viewed... the least viewed episode on this channel.
But you didn't know what number. But you know what number episode is on.
Ouch.
I keep track of, what the people want.
Ouch.
No, do you know why it's the least viewed episode, I think?
Why?
My thumbnail skills weren't really good back then. Not that they're amazing now, but they're a little bit better.
And you were talking about cricket, I think.
No, you
You just insulted cricket now. That's...
Yeah, I like cricket, but I mean, like,
did.
I know a lot of people say it's boring.
Yeah, we did, but that was most of our conversation.
I think the problem is that most of our conversation was around cultural debate and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And my listeners just aren't cultural like that. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I'm joking. I didn't mean to insult you. Please don't switch to another podcast. Okay. But Gershon was also supposed to do a marketing thing.
Oh yeah, I've been berated for this.
Chastised. Because I expect that when you are finished with the episode, once the episode gets released, for you to like plug it, Because you're like, I did something. I went to speak to some people. It's not amazing, but it's like, it's a thing. But Gershon, your relationship with social media
is almost non-existent.
And I'm not talking about social media in terms of like Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that.
Which is also non-existent. But anyways.
But like WhatsApp, man. Basic communication that you need for living.
I thought you lost your phone, to be honest.
Gershon lost his phone.
I thought so, yeah.
Because the man,
I've never lost my phone. I got my phone stolen. I got my phone broken. All of those things.
When did you get your phone stolen?
In high school, you remember this?
Yeah, sure. I'm not as good a friend as maybe you thought I was.
That's fine.
When did this happen? What grade?
Matric.
Oh no.
Anyway.
It was a quiet phone.
Yes.
I remember. Gershon was duck sad.
When you said, oh no, I thought that Jeremy Clarkson would be like, oh no.
Anyway.
No, I actually care. But I'm sure you've moved on.
Yeah, I moved on. I got it back.
You did?
Yes.
Wait, how?
See, story we can't say on podcast because of legal reasons.
Hectic
Indeed.
But who stole your phone that you have to keep quiet for legal reasons?
It's not for legal reasons. It's more of I don't want to name and shame a person.
Okay,
but my phone was stolen by someone I know. So that means that it was serious enough to know the person, and it was at school. So you would also know who it is if I told you.
Oh, you can tell me afterwards.
Yeah, well, after this episode.
No, don't shame for your podcast listeners.
No. For any listener who wants to know, come approach me or send me a message or something. Just ask who it was. I'll give you the names. Don't worry. I don't care about secrecy. No, I'm kidding. But there was one story, my auntie. She's like on the elderly side of life, man. So now she was in ShopRite. And for our international listeners, because we do have one or two, no, I'm serious.
Really?
Yeah, for real. But that's only because they like me. You know what I mean? Like I'm friends with them, so they kind of feel forced to listen to. They don't actually want to.
Are those people you met on Among Us?
Nah, it's people I met when I went to the States.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, so ShopRite is like for the Americans, it's like Walmart. which is like, it's for the people, man. And you know what I mean when I say for the people?
You mean only poor people go there and people who are struggling?
Okay, I didn't want to say that, Gershon.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why I
but
said it's for the
be
people, so I
honest.
don't have to.
If your stateside people know that you live in Africa, they have to be at least aware that people here live in poverty.
Some of us would, keeping our heads above the water and whatnot.
True, and still shop and shop, right? I understand, but
Hey, all I'm saying is those specials, you don't get them everywhere.
fair enough.
Anyway, so my auntie's in ShopRite, man. And she's, like I said, she's on the elderly side of life. So this dude pickpocketed her. And so she's like at the till, and now she's like, yo, where's my phone, man? And she's like, and then she realizes, oh, someone stole my phone. And so in South Africa, when someone steals your phone, you don't just like run to the police, because chances are the police are gonna like shout at you, because like, why would you be so negligent and stuff, you know? Because yeah, South African police. Nevertheless, she's like, oh no, my phone got stolen. Anyway, she moves on. She keeps like, she's checking out her stuff at the till. And then the bra comes back into the store, walks up to her and says, Auntie, I stole your phone, but this is a junk phone. You can keep it. And to me, that is even more insulting. Like, at least, if you're going to steal my phone, at least do it with pride. Don't come give it back to me afterwards. That's like adding insult to injury. But yeah. So, how Caleb and Gershon and I became friends. Do you remember, like, the first time you met me? No? Probably not.
I do. I just I do. I didn't talk. I just know people that like it was like this weird brother came in grade 9. It's like
you didn't have to say weird, bro.
But it was.
Okay, fair.
Grade 9. It was grade
9.
Oh,
right.
Weird. Oh yes, you were. You weren't here for the first year.
I was homeschooled in the 8th grade.
But yeah, I didn't speak to you like in grade 9 though.
But I knew of your existence because of soccer.
Yeah. That's how like I came to know you, and also other friend kept on like talking like this new brother in my class. So weird.
Oh no.
You'll know what it is, but I'll tell you after this.
Was he in 8C and then moved to 9A?
Yes.
Okay, I know you're talking about.
Now most of your viewers do too.
I mean, if they went to normies, then maybe.
Yeah, they all know but he knew all the drama though.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Anyway, but so we knew each other from like eliminations. You remember eliminations?
Yeah.
So we would stand in a big circle during like break, and then we would like play one touch, one bounce. That's the one. And then you would try to like eliminate everybody by like killing them, which is like to kick the ball hard at them, and then it touches them and it goes out of the circle.
Yeah. But eventually break it converted to buck, which was
that was fun. I didn't buck very often, I'll be honest. Buck is when you play one bounce, one touch, one bounce, but if you get 3 like
strikes,
yeah, then you have to go like bend against the wall, and people take turns like trying to shoot the ball as hard as they can against your bum.
Yeah.
It turns us into fine young men.
See, this is the part where I stopped playing and just stood outside of the circle and watched people play.
Nah, you have to. What's that poem by Theodore Roosevelt? Is it Theodore Franklin where he says you have to be the man in the arena? You have to take on these challenges.
Sounds like a Theo quote.
But so I met Caleb through that, and then the end of grade 9, miraculously, I got a good mark for math. So I got like a 80 for math in grade 9. I've never seen those numbers for math ever again in my life. But so that means so our school was like, they basically divided the math into like how clever you were or like how good your marks were.
Only the top 2 though.
Top 2 and then the rest is all mixed.
The rest of them are all mixed.
So if you took pure math and the top 2, so the first one was called top set.
Yeah.
So that was like the best, let's say the 30 best math students in the grade. So I went into that class.
Oh, I think it was I joined you, but then halfway I got out.
So Caleb got kicked out halfway, and then I got kicked out at the end of the year because the marks weren't marking.
I just missed it by like 2%. They're like, I don't think you should stay in this class. I'm like, okay.
Did Ms. Kruger tell you that?
No, she said, I think you'll do better if the teacher teaches slower. So she sent to school.
Ouch.
Oh,
Ouch.
that is so. And also, why couldn't she just teach slower? Like,
Did you just fast, but she was always behind?
bruh, I never understood that.
Because when I went to ski over,
Uh,
they were like 2 lessons ahead.
yeah.
So I had to learn like graders that, but I learned that quickly because I was top set material.
Wow.
Jeez, flexing
Listen,
on the rest
listen,
of us
listen.
peasants.
Listen to these top set people flexing on second set. Second set was great. You people had
set-
to
no,
It
come.
became my home, Gershon.
Second, yeah, after like halfway, I don't want to go back to top set.
The rest of
Because
us.
it was
let's
so
be honest
serious.
now.
It was so serious. So I was like,
I always used to say top set was because Tyler was in top set with me. And Tyler was like, he was just having fun, but he was really smart. Like, he was frick smart. So I always used to say, like, top set is comprised of people that aren't on the brighter side of life, but that work extremely hard. Like, they go practice math
Yeah.
and they get the marks, and like, fair play, that's your life and whatever. Like, I remember people used to ask dumb questions in like top set, like, oh ma'am, what does collinear mean?
no, the worst.
And it's
The
like-
worst was what does dissect mean? What does bisect? And
Like, how did you get here, bruh?
what's the difference between bisect and dissect?
My word. But so top set was always the hardworking, I don't want to say idiots, the hardworking hard workers, and then the talented lazy people.
Well,
Uh-huh.
ouch.
But
Again.
I guess that could apply to second set as well, just on
Ouch
maybe a
again.
lesser scale, you know.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't deserve to be in second set. I worked hard to get my math mark, and I was terrible at math.
Yeah.
I
No,
always say that.
I'll be honest, I wasn't on the hardworking scale of things.
yeah. I like to retract my statement about being top set material. Like I was thinking about it, I especially like, wait,
Nah.
those top set people were getting like 80s. I was like, yeah, 68, 69.
I would have, 68 and 69 would have been nice in Matric, because my Matric
Nah, yeah.
math mark was like
Nah, but that
low
pa-
60s.
But that paper won though in the matric finals was
You guys got low 60s, I got
Yeah.
low 50s. Jeez.
But you passed, Gershon.
yeah.
It's true.
You
I
had that
passed.
certificate.
Yeah, I passed pure math, but not like South African pass, actual pass. 50%.
Hey,
Yeah.
let's go. Because what is South African pass? Like,
40?
didn't they change it to like 31?
Oh, yeah,
No, the overall, like if you were to pass the year,
Oh.
you needed to get like 2 subjects in 40 and the rest you can get in 30.
How can you pass like that? Okay, let me not, because to all my brothers and sisters that have passed Matric,
Fuck.
congratulations to you. You deserve that. But come on, man, where's the standards? Yes. Okay. Anyway,
Oh, come on, man. There's people who couldn't pass like that. It's difficult.
but I remember paper 1 was bad.
That was
Like
bad.
I thought, like, yeah, I'm gonna have to like get my CV ready for McDonald's or something. Because I was like, that is where my life is headed. And again, to my brothers and sisters at McDonald's, we'll get through this. I shouldn't say that actually.
See, there's a lot of people judging you.
Math was a struggle towards the end, but like you're right, the vibe, because I got kicked out of top set. Top set was like everybody was like trying to be good, and it was too serious, and like you never
Yeah.
had fun. Well, then I went to second set, and they placed. So here's how the seating arrangement worked. I was next to a friend of mine. I was next to Gershon. I sat next
Yeah.
to Gershon. Caleb sat ahead of us, like directly in front of us, next to someone as well. And then behind us were 2 of our friends as well.
And there was 2 people in front of me also.
Do you remember one of the friends? Yeah, that's true. Do you remember the one friend that was behind us? No, who brought I'm not gonna say his name, because maybe he doesn't want his name said. But he used to bring a Rubik's cube to math.
Oh yeah. Ah.
And I don't know, for some reason, all the ladies in the class were obsessed with my guy and his Rubik's cube. And I was like, is this how you get girls? Like, is this some sort of mechanism? Because like I'm talking about flocking around his table. Like, they have work to do. And there would be like 6 or 7 girls just watching this guy. Because he could do it in like, 20 seconds or something.
Yeah.
And normally short is not better, no? But like, yeah, in this case, man was going for it. So that was like eye-opening, especially because at that time I was like low on confidence. I was like, maybe I just need to learn. So one day I bought my own Rubik's Cube, and then it took too long to figure out. And then I was like, it's fine, maybe.
One of the videos just learn the algorithm.
Yeah, isn't there like a study sheet thingy that you need to remember to do the thing properly?
But then how is it koi? Because if you can learn it, I mean, okay, I'm not saying if you can learn it, then it's not quite. But like, if there's a cheat sheet, then are you really
Yeah,
that
but
amazing?
And you have to remember the cheat sheet and then remember it when a random set of stuff faces form on a Rubik's Cube.
So when the pressure is high.
Also, it's kind of difficult to remember something when you have to do a task. And it's random each time.
Okay. Fair. So you're saying he deserved all the goals to be around his table?
No, it's just that. No, I also thought the Rubik's Cube and why the girls were around him was stupid. I had a different view. I was just like, this is stupid. Why are you people so enamored over Rubik's Cube?
See, I was trying to be like him, Gershon was trying to dissect why this thing
Yeah,
is silly.
it's been for ages. He was doing that stuff in grade 8.
I think maybe because he was handsome. Like maybe it's also about who holds the Rubik's Cube. Okay, anyways. But so, in grade 11, the vibes were completely different. I walk into this math class and people are like chilling on their phones. Some people are actually doing the work, to be fair.
And all the people that the trials in front.
Yeah, that was annoying. Those people would like...
Hey, I was sitting in front. They moved me to the back.
That is where the cool people sit, Gershon. They
I
liberated
got
you. That's what
moved
they
to
did.
the back.
I remember you used to ask a lot of questions in math.
Because they sat in front.
No, going to the back was the best decision you could have made.
Again,
Wasn't it
I
like
was
really the
not
back-
good at math. I asked questions because I didn't understand.
Fair.
But then you had Samuel. But he only taught you 4-3-3.
So here's the thing, man.
I got the joke now.
So here's the thing. We used to... I don't know if you've seen those memes on like Instagram where it's like me and the boys every math session, and then it's like the 5 Monday night football panel with like Roy Keane and Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher
with the big
and stuff.
screen.
Yeah, exactly. So what Caleb and Gershon and I, because our math teacher decided to treat us like adults, which was her mistake, to be honest. She was like, I'm going to give you freedom. You can choose if you want to work in this class or not. So naturally, we decided to build Dream 11s. So we would set each other challenges like build a Premier League 11, but you can't use anyone from the top 6. Or you can only use like 2 players per club or something like that. So it was, because otherwise you just pick the entire Leicester team. At the time, this was like 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
So it was really fun because we just spoke about football all day. And when I say we took this stuff seriously, we took it serious. Like we were like prime analysts. I did it like it was a job for me.
The Nicholas Pepe debate was still the best one.
Can
The
Gershon,
wars.
I want you to explain
The
that debate
wars.
to me because you are the one who took the owl.
I took the L and I will take it. So Nicholas Pepe at the time was a great player. I remember he scored.
Was he or did he play in League?
Listen, he scored 21 goals. He got 10 assists that season. The only other player who had the same amount of goals and assists ratio was Messi. So you had to think. You had to think at that time. You go, this is the stuff we used to talk about in math that I used to justify my answers. Still doesn't make it right. I thought he was good. And then Samuel said this one thing that he will smile to his day about. It's like African touch though, Gershon.
The African first touch. That's
like,
and that's the thing. So Nicholas Pepe is Ivorian, and he played for Lille. And I used to like, because we were rumored to sign him, so I used to watch the games and be like, just see if this guy is good. And he had pace. But what would happen was every time the ball got played into his feet, he would take a touch that would go like 5 yards ahead of him, and then he'd have enough pace to like beat the defender. But I was like, that stuff's not going to fly in the Premier League. And so Arsenal bought him for £70 million. And I remember our friend Kian, because he's a big Arsenal fan, came out, he was so hyped. He's like, oh, but we got Pepe. And then Arsenal fans think, oh, we're going to like win the league and stuff like that. And then I was like, this guy is African first touch. And that's not to say that, you know.
But the funniest was when he had a good game against Standard Liège, and then Kane was like, look at how Pepe was. I'm like, yeah, because everybody fears the great Standard Liège.
That's funny. Belgium football, you know, the highest standard that you can imagine. But so, like, African first touch is... Sadio Mane had it when he first came to Liverpool as well. Like, they are fast. They can shoot sometimes. They are skillful, but they have no ball control. So when the ball comes into the feet, you don't know, and they don't know which direction it's gonna go in. And so Nicholas Pepe ended up being like a massive flop. Gershon realized like a year in, because you still gave him a year grace. Like you were like, oh, it's first season, whatever, he'll be better. He never got better. And he was Arsenal's record signing, and now I don't think is he still on their books.
Yeah, he is on loan, I think.
Yeah. So basically, I was a highly skilled analyst. Back in the 10th and 11th grade. But that was just like the vibes. Like we used to play Cards Against Humanity. Do you remember that?
Yes.
That was in math class as well. Gershon, I think, did you come to me afterwards and say you regretted how much time we wasted in math?
I regret all the time we wasted in math. I tried to do my work. I always say that I tried to do my work, and then Samuel goes, it would be fun if we did something else.
I don't know why.
I was like, let's do something. It would be fun to do something else.
But at the same time, you have your own life.
It's true. No, don't get me wrong. I don't blame you for anything.
I appreciate that, Gershon.
I don't blame you for anything.
Trying to clear my conscience out here.
Nah.
Because we had our own, like...
the thing is, your argument was compelling. Yeah, it would be fun not to do math.
I mean, I'll be honest, that was my favorite lesson. Because we never did any work.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And you don't get away with that stuff in top set.
Exactly. Yeah, they would call you out. Like, yeah.
Fun.
Break times. Can we agree that I was the greatest goalkeeper that Norman Inchel would have seen?
No.
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 Why was I always chosen to be goalkeeper?
Because you wanted to know what you wanted to be.
And yet I was there and ever present in the polls. I remember I pulled off some stunning saves.
And you also get the ball bounce over you.
That was okay. So one time, the other opposition goalkeeper kicked the ball like a long kick, and then the ball bounced in front of me. And I thought, okay, if I go towards it, like I can stop it. And then I realized halfway going through to like towards it that the ball was gonna bounce over me, so I ran backwards, but like not in time. And all of a sudden, I was berated by Caleb. Caleb always used to come up to me, "You're such a crap goalkeeper."
Yeah, but he took this break game too seriously.
Caleb, you need to answer for your war crimes.
I'm competitive, man.
Caleb is really competitive. So like, it can be like a random game against like it would be like grade 11s versus grade 12s or whatever, and Caleb would play it like it's the World Cup final. Like my guy would be doing the what do you call this thing when you do like a
the sign of the cross.
Yeah, he would be like celebrating by like you're pointing to the sky, thanking the Lord Jesus for giving him that goal. But I admire it because in a way that sort of like this is just my perspective. It kind of feels like your passion for the things that you do.
Yeah, you want to win.
Because you're not trying to like half-heartedly do anything.
Yeah, like some that depends also like on the situation, but like winnings first and then like afterwards I take the piss.
That's
The man did swear you out.
Oh yeah, no, on a daily basis. And that sort of like had to build my character also. Because you have to realize that Caleb is not personally attacking you. He's just infuriated that you let one near post goal in.
At the angle.
In hockey-sized goalposts.
Why must you... Anyway, but so like I saw this passion, like a prime example was when we got our Matric marks. I don't know how much you guys remember about this day, but like they called Caleb, so they call your name up if you passed, and then they like if your marks are like like they'll say, oh, this is your best marks or whatever, or like bachelor. Oh, then they'll say like bachelor's pass or whatever. And I think you were like worried about getting bachelor's pass. Yeah,
because you had physics, accounting, and math. I was like, oh no.
Why would you do that to yourself?
I don't know. I didn't know what I wanted to do after school, so I was like, just
take the hardest stuff.
Yeah, just take the stuff for like that. Because okay, I did go on a business if I was business accounting, but then physics was like if I wanted to go into that stuff. But I was like, Can't you think of it? I should have just taken history or something.
I love how you chose. I chose subjects. The subjects I found the most fun. So I want to do history and I want to do economics. It doesn't matter what I do after that. Fun.
See, I feel like mine is a mixture because I took history because it was fun. I was never not going to take history. But then physics and bio, it was because my sister and my brother went to like Cape Academy, which is like math and science. So in my dad's mind, it was like, there's no not taking physics and bio. It's like you basically, like, you know what I mean? Even though he didn't say that explicitly, that's how I felt like I basically have to. But I mean, bio wasn't bad. Physics was...
No. Matric physics was on a...
Still have nightmares.
Nevertheless. Did you do physics as well, guys?
Yeah.
Were you guys in the same class?
No.
So we were all in different physics classes?
Yeah.
We were...
That's probably for the better too.
Yeah,
Because imagine we were in the same one.
We were not in the same economics class, were we?
I didn't do economics.
Didn't you do
I
economics?
did business and accounting, the other two
Oh,
subjects.
God.
We were in the same history class.
You were in the same history class. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I thought that was more of my fun class.
History was so fun.
Yeah, that was the fun class.
There was one teacher where we used to just make her tell her life stories, and then she never used to teach us.
I know that was my business class. My business class that just talk about the people from how she
To
was
be
in high
fair-
school, and she'll tell you. She brought a picture the one time of like us a matric photo with like all the students, and she would like tell you a story of each one and like who's married to who and like
That's funny. I don't think like anybody cares. That sounds so rude. But like at high school, no, like you don't really care so much. You're just like, how can we do the least work possible?
yeah, they just get to talk
Oh,
about
come
this.
on. To be fair to our history teacher, we still spoke about history relevant stuff.
True. But then it would be like her own experiences
Yeah,
fighting
like-
apartheid. And
Like
stuff.
it's like she was part of the history and around at the time, so it was still we still talked about it.
So
Yeah, but we also still got A's for history. So what are we gonna do? We got to be okay. Like going from 80 to 90% is like a huge leap when we went from grade 11 to matric.
yeah,
But
because
we
in matric we had a teacher who just taught us techniques. Like it was like how to finesse the system basically.
To
But so like early when you said I should have done something like history, I was gonna take offense because it's like people have this perception of history like, oh, it's an easy A, but it is an easy A.
And as a Rubik's Cube boy went to matric there and got 80%.
Oh, yeah. he did zero history before that. Joined our history class in matric and got 80. That's yeah.
yeah, but because you didn't learn anything, you didn't know anything from the last 2 years of history to do matric history.
That's true.
So you only had to learn that 1 year of work.
But it was still techniques and stuff like
Wait,
that.
he was only with us for that last year.
Yeah.
Funny.
And he got an A, and he was like, the best thing I ever did was drop accounting and do history.
Because I don't understand. So in accounting, I'll be honest, this is what I used to do.
See, that's why I don't get upset about us discussing history stuff in history. Is because the actual learning happened when we actually talked about the actual stuff that happened. That's why I don't get upset about it, because I would defend that teacher and say we got taught history in that
Yeah.
class.
And
but we
she would
talked about
make you repeat this. So this is how she do it. It would be like used to drill the history into us. So she would make you repeat the sentences. So she'd say like, today we're going to be talking about colony, and then you have to say like Elism, you know, because
Yeah,
like so
That, I think when everyone to do every subject was that I had in grade 8, and then that was the industrial river.
same teacher.
When she's I'm not gonna mention her name, but she was the sweetest old Afrikaans lady. And I think her family was like, her dad was some sort of apartheid MP in the parliament, and she told us the stories of like how when she was young she went to Stellenbosch University, and there she became a lot more radical, and she started seeing the world like, you know, through a less conservative lens. We're like, how conservative do you have to be, no? For you to become more radical at Stellenbosch. It is like the most, that's like Afrikaans university, they pee in your room for being black. You know what I mean? It's like, how is that the place? Like, yeah. But it was good times. And she told us about like how when she was young, she was taught that like swart gevaar, which directly translates to black danger. So like that the black people were communists and they were going to take over the country and they were going to kill all the white people and stuff like that. So it's
communism.
it's sad the brainwashing that used to go on. But so she was brilliant at like guaranteeing you like an A.
I don't know why I did physics and accounting.
But here you are.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So no regrets, hopefully.
Yeah, no.
No regrets.
Okay. And what are you doing at the moment?
But at BCom,
Mm.
I actually got the degree. Actually, kind of like not the degree yet, but I mean like I
Basically, I have it.
Because I
They
got
haven't
the
given you the paper yet.
Yeah, because I got the offer to study next year, so
Jeez.
so
Great.
Jeez.
I'm happy with that. Actually,
It's like what's that song? Rich Flicks. Have you seen? It's the one where they say Drake's being very zesty.
What?
You know what I mean by zesty?
I don't
No.
know.
Just a little bit fruity.
Sass.
Yeah, I mean yeah. I guess
mean-
it's us.
Because when you said this, I was like, I only think I know about this is like
See,
lemon
the
zesty.
metaphors have only confused me more.
Okay, basically he goes, and please don't copy strike my video. This is like 2 seconds of the song. But he goes like, 21, can you do some for me? Can you drop a little rich flex for me? 21, do your thing, 21. Do your It's very like, you
Yeah,
know?
I didn't mean to come across as like a flex. I wasn't. I just.
No.
It was
No.
more of happiness
No.
because I was
Nah,
stressed.
congrats, bro. Like, I don't
Very
think
flex.
you should shy away from
Never.
your, like, you worked hard for it.
Yeah, it was stress, especially second year was stress. I cried like 5 times
Oh,
during exams.
no.
Nah, but I got through it. So it's cool.
As long as you got through it.
That's
It'll
the
be
most
great.
important thing. Crying is that like an important.
I didn't cry 5 times. I was being dramatic, it's like once or twice. But I was being lazy again, and then I was so behind in work. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna pause. And then obviously I went to my mother. I only cried in front of her. I was like, I started crying.
Was it like overwhelming?
Yeah. So my mother cried. I also cried to like one other friend or so. But that's yeah.
Would you
too.
say you're more emotional when you're like when you've had a few of like some of the devil's beverages in you?
Nah, I tend not to if I'm in an emotional state. I don't want to indulge in that stuff if I'm emotional. I'd rather just let the emotions out sober.
Kershaw, have you been drunk before?
No, but I've drunk a lot of alcohol to the point, so I actually don't even know where my limit is.
Do you have something to confess, Kershaw?
I actually, really, I don't. I actually don't. I had half a bottle of some strong liquor, and I was like, oh.
Nothing.
Yeah, I assume it's because of my weight that makes it me much more durable. It's never been my intention to ever get drunk. I think I have an irrational fear of losing control of my thoughts.
Because you're really holding back on like telling someone what you really think of them.
No, not like that. Not like that. I like holding my mental faculties in check.
Fair enough. I think that's a debating thing. That's like
I wouldn't like to not be able to do what I want without thinking about it first.
So recently, Gershon and I, we went to an establishment. I'm not gonna say like which kind of establishment it was, but let's just say it was the kind of establishment that is not conducive to clear thought.
Or to good Christian boys.
Oh no, I feel like this made it worse. I feel like I should just say so, because now it seems like because the listener's mind could be anywhere by now.
My mind is I don't know about this.
We'll tell you afterwards, like which establishment it was.
I'm thinking of the worst.
Wait, we need to ask him what he thinks first before we tell him.
I don't know if I want to say it on the podcast.
Then don't.
Okay, but what do you think it was?
I prefer not to speak.
No comment.
Okay, so basically this establishment. Let me just give you a hint now. It's not a crack house.
Cool.
Okay.
It has reduced it.
So we were at this establishment, and like everybody, like it's just very seedy, man. It's just like this dark. People are getting wasted, and it was for our friend's birthday. And Gershon and I, like, we were gonna be there to support our friend no matter what.
Yeah, it's 21st party. If we were not there, we would look like we were terrible friends.
And I'm not a terrible friend, you know. I'm gonna
Same
be
here.
there for my guy. But it's just like that environment. Because Gershon, I don't drink. And then like, so it was just easier to just speak to Gershon the whole night. And so we ended up in this like CD establishment with like things going on all around us. Gershon and I were talking about the state of the country. We're talking about, is there any true freedom in capitalism? Like, and it's like, I don't know, it's refreshing also that like Gershon is able to have that kind of conversation, like no matter, like even in the car on the way here, we were talking about just for a brief few minutes. Most of the time we were talking about music, but like we were talking about like politics and stuff like that. And it was just cool to have someone there that like, I consider myself not a stick in the mud. I can have a good time, but like I'm gonna be sober no matter what. But I felt like there I was a stick in the mud, but there were 2 sticks in the mud.
Yeah.
And that made me feel good, because I'm not the only brother that's like just talking to this brother. You know what I mean? That was fun. That was one that I will tell my grandkids. But once my grandkids go over 18.
Like, yeah, you were a godsend at that party. I was like, Samuel's coming. Great, don't tell him that I'm here. He might not want to come. Because I don't know, I thought maybe you think I would be judgy of you.
What?
Really?
No, you were there too, bro. I would have judged you back. No, I'm kidding. But then Gershon and I went home earlier. But yeah, I had some stuff to do.
Gershon needed an excuse to be out of there.
And eventually we extracted ourselves from the mission. But it was nice to be there for my friend. And I think that's what matters at the end of the day. At the time of recording, there's going to be a little bit of a shift. There is a major event going on. And what is that major event? Climate change. No.
Oh no! I got the joke. I got this one. Human rights violations 2022.
Oof. It's been an interesting episode of human rights violations 2022. Our latest culprit, Qatar. It's been fun to see all the stories. Now, I actually wanted to talk to you about this question because earlier we were speaking, and then because it's the World Cup and it's happening in Qatar. And by the time this episode comes out, the World Cup may be finished, but it may also not be finished. Either way, the human rights violations still happened. But now, or are happening. Thank you. As my producer just informed us. So. You said earlier, objectively, because I was speaking about how most World Cups, when the 2010 World Cup happened here, we were bouncing. As a country, I've never felt more united. I've never felt more proud to be South African than when Sipiwe Chabalala scored that goal in the top corner. And Peter Drury said, "Goal, Bafana, Bafana! Goal, South Africa! Goal for all Africa! Jabulila! Rejoice!" That was really nice. That was the goosebumps moment for me. But when we saw that goal go in, we thought we are winning the World Cup. Don't lie. You thought that. We all thought we were winning. We thought we're the greatest footballing team to ever exist.
Yeah, then Uruguay.
Let's not go about Diego Forlan because that was some match fixing. The way he could control that Jabulani football. Isn't there like a free kick he scored in the top corner against us or something?
Yeah, like I don't know that the Jabulani ball and Diego Forlan was like.
Match made in heaven. But so the 2010 World Cup, we were bouncing. There was like the yellow tourists were here. So for the first time you're hearing like people speak like Dutch and Spanish around you and stuff like that. Like the world was here. We had attention. Shakira was barefoot singing Waka Waka. That other brak Kainan.
That's still to me the World Cup song and not the Waka Waka.
100%, bro. Like because it was like wavy for when I get older, I will. Sorry, again, copyright strike. I need to be careful here. But I know every episode I end up singing something. I should really I'm gonna actively try in the next one not to sing something.
Isn't like YouTube's deal changing that they have now, splitting revenue with the record company so that you can play some copyrighted music?
I'll be honest.
Like the deal they're doing. TikTok has that deal with record companies, I think, so they can have the music in the background.
I'll be honest, Gershon, there's no revenue here. I'm making zero money off this podcast, and it will be like that for some time. But it's okay. It's fine. But so like that brought such a lot of positive press to South Africa. Okay, we paid for the World Cup to happen here. I thought it was Mandela, but apparently Sepp Blatter can be bought, you know? And so the World Cup brought such a lot of positive press, and when I went to America, people were talking about how amazing the 2010 World Cup was and whatever.
I always find it funny that the rest of the world will say, "Oh, that was the greatest World Cup ever." But whenever they were here, all they did was complain. Oh, the vuvuzela! Oh, the terrible ball that swerved in the air.
And also, I think that was racism, man. Like, I remember Riyad Mosa made this one joke. He was like, the Dutch journalists were complaining that the vuvuzela was irritating. Yeah, so was colonialism, and we had to deal with that for 400 years. You can't go poop, poop, poop for 90 minutes. It's just like double standards, man. But so...
See, that's what I was saying. But yet the rest of the world have some kind of positive see of that.
But it brought us money, it brought us like positive, like so people were like, oh, South Africa, this is where it's at, like,
so
happening.
Like the truth about the World Cup is like technically no country actually makes any money. So the profits go to FIFA directly.
Really?
Yeah. So we don't technically make money. So but what it did for South Africa, it fast tracked a lot of the infrastructure. So the busing infrastructure, the roads, the stadiums.
Do FIFA pay for the stadiums?
Well, no, we just been
So
able
you
to get
telling
out.
me now?
We could have gotten a loan.
So you telling me basically we build everything.
Well, we
FIFA takes all the money, and they just say, okay, but the World Cup is here.
Yeah, that's 100%. That's 100% that
That's
happens.
nonsense.
It is.
We must get more money.
It is. Like,
Okay, but I suppose that we still get from like rich white tourists going to like businesses.
that's
and stuff
the
like that.
appeal. Apparently, it is the tourism.
Okay, fair. But anyway, so like there's this tourist boom or whatever. But now Qatar, no? This means I don't know how they managed to mess it up this badly. But this is the one World Cup, the only World Cup I've ever seen where people are like, this country is bad. Like they're getting so much negative press. But so earlier Gershon said something like, objectively, it's just a bad. What did you say? Something about like crimes. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
like the country's just terrible country.
Okay, but you said that objectively.
In terms of objectively.
But what I'm saying is maybe it's Western standards. So like Qatar is not a Western country. It's like it's a predominantly like it's a Muslim country. It's got like it's not a democratic government. It's an oligarchy, so it's like a bunch of rich people that run the country. But are we projecting Western values onto them and saying, oh, this is a bad country because they don't agree with what we decided to agree on? Do you know what I mean? So then it's not objectively bad. Then it's just from a Western point of view, it's bad. And then you go like, is that Western imperialism, like trying to like, make everyone into like, oh, we must be a democracy, we must... I don't know.
Oh, this is way too complicated of a debate to happen because it's two different ones. It is one whether or not it's in any right for any Western country to say anything about any other country, especially with their history.
Yeah.
And also second is things like democracy, human rights, equality. Is those Western values or those just human values that Western people have claimed? Because you could also say you didn't believe that 200 years ago when it was most profitable for you. So it wasn't your values that you came up with. So you could also argue that those values are not Western values.
Yep.
They are just values that we as human beings have decided are things that we think are objectively nice, that everyone should be equal.
But clearly, as human beings, we didn't all decide that it's objectively like that. So at what point do you go, we have to respect the Qatari, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I wanted the migrant workers to die. Like, I think it's a travesty. But my feelings aside, I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm saying, why aren't we respecting Qatar's way of thinking about things or the way that they run their country? The same way we want our values to be respected.
Yeah. Again, we go back to that idea of freedom. So like we had this discussion at some point that freedom is the ability to do whatever you want. So if you speak of a country's values as not being the freedom of people to do whatever they want, and that's the main value, then it's no longer then there's no longer freedom. So, like, for example, the Qatar value is this and this and this and all of these rules,
Yeah.
right? Then that's not values. That's just your rules. If the value was people are freedom and they choose to live in a specific way, then that's their choice to do so. That's their values. And you can say that as like an overall thing. All the people in the country are
Homophobic.
Arab.
Sorry.
No,
Sorry.
like Arab, and
Yeah.
they do a specific type of thinking.
Yeah.
And that's their prerogative to do that type of
Yeah.
thinking. But the moment the government does it, it leaves no room for anyone to say opposite. So you can be a Muslim country, you can be a Christian country,
Yeah.
you can be whatever country you want, but that should be dictated by the culture of the people, not by the government deciding what to do.
Because then basically you advocating for separation of church and state in this, and church being like religious entities, not
Yeah.
specifically the church.
Yeah.
And so people.
Well, it's not just that; it's just values in general. So
I should also clarify that even though Qatar is a Muslim country in inverted commas, that there are very different types of like Islam.
Yeah.
And that there's not one blanket like, oh, these are Islamic values. You know, it's like a very specific type of like way of looking at the world. Because I have like, you know, I don't have to qualify this at all, but I do feel the need to, just so that
Of
it's
course,
not,
because
it
we
doesn't
don't
come
want
across
to-
as a
Because we don't
generalization.
want to be generalizing.
Yeah, but like my Muslim friend, I mean, I don't want to be, you know,
Yeah,
because now you
the
sound like
call-
that, the
I have-
racist white guy that's like, oh, I have a black friend, you know what I mean?
And you said it was cool that I talked about it like this.
He gave me the N-word, boss, so
Yes.
it's fine. No, but like I have Muslim friends that are very like, you know, open-minded, very radical, very, what I'm saying is like, yeah, I just
Yeah,
needed to
So
clarify
like
what I
different
meant by,
denominations like Christianity. You know,
exactly.
Like you get like your strict Christians, like your Catholics, and your
Mm,
then you get like Apostolics is a bit more laid back. I
mm.
wouldn't say all, but I mean like a bit more like
Which denomination are you part of?
Catholic.
Or were you like every Sunday at mass and stuff like that?
Yeah, but not recently, especially when COVID.
Mm.
So that but I am planning. I must still get confirmed, so I must go again.
Oh,
Can
you
I
have to
ask-
get confirmed, dude.
No.
Oh.
Can I ask a question about like mass and stuff? When you guys, and if you don't want to answer, it's fine. Also, when you drink the wine, the blood,
Oh yeah.
whatever, is that like real wine?
It is like. You know, of course.
Have you ever like taken a big gulp?
I tend not to because I still in my ears because I haven't been like in my church the church that I went to only recently like started like doing that stuff.
Mm.
So I never really took like a substitute because I was like I'm not gonna drink like even though like it's supposed to be blood like, of Christ, I still didn't because I still like made it like this alcohol because I had it felt
Weird.
warm.
Mm.
But I know it's real alcohol because my late father, what you call it, there's a point where he couldn't drink any more alcohol. Like if you drank alcohol, you'd like have to go to hospital.
Yo.
So the priest was and then he didn't want to be like denied, so he took it and then he had to go to hospital after church. So that's
Yo.
That's
The
devoted.
dedication.
That's
Yeah.
Wow.
it's quite it is real.
So, speaking of one of the things that you can't do in Qatar, you know, I don't think, you know, there's many mass services going on there because of the alcohol. But let's look at it from a purely footballing perspective now. I'll be honest, I thought I was going to watch all the games this World Cup. I've watched about half of them. There's games like Tunisia and Australia, and like, come on now. My life isn't that sad that I would dedicate time to watching Tunisia versus Australia. And I'm sorry to my Tunisian viewers and Australian viewers, but I can't think of a more irrelevant. None of you are going to win the. Why are you here? Do you know what I mean? Make way for the big boys.
But did you make the point earlier about that goal from Shabalala that made us think that we were going to win the World Cup? That's the hope.
But at least we were hosting. At least we had like a storyline. What storyline do Australia have, bruh? You know, their nickname is the Socceroos. Do me a favor, Australia football. Grow up. Grow up. Socceroos. But then, so in Tunisia, their nickname is the Eagles of Carthage. Now that is a proper nickname. because Carthage was in like Tunis. Modern day Tunis is like Carthage back in the day, and there used to be a proper like empire, and the eagle was their symbol. So it's like, that brings about some sort of feeling. It's like the Seleção. That's a proper nickname, not the Socceroos. Anyway, favorites to win the World Cup. Well, let me split that into two. Who do you think's gonna win the World Cup, and who do you want to win the World Cup? Because sometimes that's a different question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So, Caleb.
Well, based on like the first like round of games, like I know it's only like was it Costa Rica that Spain beat?
Yeah, well, I mean they didn't just beat them.
I mean, yeah, that was.
It was like the Spanish Inquisition all over again.
Like I know Brazil and Spain look very strong.
Yeah.
I obviously want England to win, but yeah, no.
So England's your preferred.
Whoa. Obviously, I want England to win. Excuse me?
I mean, because I always like support them in the international. Unless they're going against the African brothers, then obviously you have to support.
You have to qualify that.
Yeah, you have to support the African brethren ahead of any other team.
Amen.
So, but if it comes to but realistically, are any African team going to win the World Cup?
No.
I don't want an African team to win the World Cup.
Gershon.
I want us to be the first African team to win the World Cup. I want South Africa.
At this point, you're just having a fantasy, Gershon. It's never gonna happen.
I do. I wish for the downfall of my African brothers so that I can be first. I can be first, so that my country can be first.
We can't even qualify for AFCON.
Yeah.
Let alone the World
We
Cup.
can't even win the Cricket World Cup, and we
lost to
basically.
How did you lose to the Netherlands, bruh? That's like a truly South African bottle job to lose to the Netherlands in the World Cup. The Netherlands don't even know how to play cricket, bruh.
See, only our rugby team has done us proud.
Yeah, that's disappointing actually.
Yeah. So you want England to is who you want to win?
I would say England. Yeah,
What do you think of Gareth Southgate?
trash.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I'm not going to get into it. It'll take too long. If I get into it.
Probably will. Kershaw, who's your favorite, and then who do you want to win it?
Brazil.
For both.
No.
Oh.
Argentina.
You want Argentina to
Yeah.
win?
Yeah.
Why?
It makes all the wrong people about Ronaldo shut up when you have something physical to tell them that is better at.
Nice. So that's in my mind.
Because they're wrong. They're objectively wrong, but they just need a reason. You need to give them a reason to throw in their face that they won't argue about.
The 13th reason why.
Yeah. They won't argue about that one.
I hear what you're saying. I think the dream scenario is Argentina-Portugal World Cup final.
Yeah.
Not penalty shootout actually, but like Messi scores a hat-trick, Ronaldo scores a hat-trick, and then I don't know, some sort of deciding factor. Do you know what I mean? To bring the narrative of the past 15 years to a close.
Otamendi header.
Yeah, it'll be
It's gonna be something dumb like that.
when Portugal won the Euros, it was at Comis or
What's his name? Yeah, something like that. Ede.
Why did I think of Comis? I was thinking of that, but I did the Cougar celebration.
Were you thinking of Bafetimbi?
Yeah.
Do you know why you thought of that? Because Ede also played for Swansea. And Bafetimbi played for Swansea, and they both were dark-skinned Ronnies with long hair.
Yeah. I don't know, but it was Ede, I remember.
Because Ronaldo got injured in the final
Yeah, and
or something.
I remember the meme with a moth on his school. That's when you got assaulted by a moth or so.
Hectic, Ronaldo.
Now because while I was laying there with his knee injured after was it Payet that injured him? There was those massive moth that flew on his face while he was crying.
Oh no. But that's funny mentioning Payet, because that guy, 2017, the streets were all about the Dimitri Payet.
Yeah, sure.
I think France, speaking of Payet, France are underdogs because I don't think anybody's talking about them as potential winners. But Mbappe is doing things,
Yeah.
He's you know what? He's really fast, man, and that helps. But I don't want France to win it. I don't think I want a European country to win it because the colonizers and whatnot.
Yeah.
My heart says Brazil might do it, just because they are royalty in World Cups. But I want Argentina to win it because I want the little man to have the final trophy to add to his cabinet.
It's going to cement his legacy also above Maradona. I still believe a lot of Argentinians hold him old Maradona higher than Messi in their opinion.
Oh, I mean, generally
Because-
throughout his career, Maradona was higher than
Yeah.
Messi.
but
That's a
only by
cocaine joke, friends and family. That's because Maradona did a lot of cocaine. Still one of the best, though. Argentinian people in the comment section about to go off. About to go wilder than Maradona after one of his nights out. But, yeah, it would definitely cement his legacy, I think, as, like, I don't think you can argue greatest of all time if he single-handedly wins the World Cup.
Yeah.
you can't.
At the time of when this comes out, Argentina will probably be out of the World Cup. So all of this will probably be for nothing. But okay, I'm going to close off.
For mute, yeah. And Belgium, Switzerland final.
Oh no. Oh no. Someone said recently the only reason why we associate this was Sean Locke. He said may he rest in peace. The only reason we associate the Swiss with chocolate is so that we don't associate them with Nazi gold and blood diamonds. I'm not saying it's true, I'm not saying it's not true. You can decide for yourselves. Thank you very much for listening. Caleb, thank you for being here. Thank you
No
for
worries.
I'm sure we'll have you on again.
Yeah. He's another person that wanted to, I was talking to about like I'm potentially in a podcast with Sam and he's like, yo, can I join on? I'm like,
No.
I'll talk to you about it afterwards.
Okay. I'm definitely like I think if you're listening to this podcast, you can also like if you want to speak. Because essentially what this podcast is, I'll be honest, is an excuse for me to like get together with friends and have conversations.
Yeah.
Because it would be weird if I just randomly went like, I'm going to come to your house or you can come to my house and we're just going to talk. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like the podcast gives you a nice excuse to like, I don't think I've seen Caleb since like last year. So, and it's November.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Caleb in 2 years.
Bringing people together. That's what this is about. Thank you for being here, Gershon.
Yes, thank you very much for having me back on.
As always, I appreciate your presence. Thank you, Samantha. Appreciate you. Have a great day, everybody. Or a good evening. Or if you're falling asleep to my voice, sweet dreams. Okay, that made it weird.
I really thought you were going to say something creepy so the person can have a bad dream, but I'm sure.
Oh, I should have done that instead. Anyways, have a lovely day further. Goodbye.